So we'd just like to start by thanking you for giving us the opportunity to present our game idea to you today. So I'll pass you over to David, and he's going to run through the synopsis of our game.
The game we were creating is called End of the Forest.
So the inspiration from our game started back in September, where we were given the theme by our lecturer, and we were told that we had to base the game on something local and that included myths and legends. We went to a few places close to Newry, including Slieve Gullion and Kilbrony Forest Park, but decided that Slieve Gullion would suit our game the best. When sitting down to develop the concept, we took inspiration from the fairy houses in the Giant's Lair, and we developed two concepts and decided that we wanted to make concept one. And in the image there you can see the two concepts, and concept one is the one we went for.
Might be too far away, is it?
Clicker's died.
Yeah.
Yeah. The synopsis. End of the Forest is an energy-driven adventure game. Tom Jenkins is a scientist and is collecting fairy dust from the fairy kingdom. You have done a scientific experiment that has shrunk you down to fairy size. You start off your quest to collect as much fairy dust as possible. Along the adventure you will run into a number of challenges. At some point along the journey, the fairies become hostile towards you and you have to flee your way out. Enjoy the surreal environment as you make your way through this exciting adventure game.
So the target audience for our game. So my partner and I have decided on the demographic for our game to be children over the age of 7. Our game will be designed with the target audience in mind throughout the production process. And we want the game to be full of colour and pleasing for the eyes. We also want to make a much milder approach to violence, as we want the game to be suitable for the age we chose. We've designed the graphics and assets for the game to be colourful, further appealing to children. When advertising the game, this can also be marketed towards the target age group. But this can be done by game demos, YouTube advertisements, or even giveaways online. And lastly, we'll be using Peggy's age rating guide to help us accurately rate the game when releasing to the market.
The genre. We like the idea of creating the game in 2D, as it fits with the idea of the side-scrolling platformer. We feel like both of us have the skills to help us create the assets and textures that we need for our game. We both love the playstyle of 2D platformers, so we decided to make one ourselves. The subgenres we chose are fantasy and mythical, as our game is set to the fairy houses in Giant's Lair, Slieve Gullion.
So releasing the game to platform. So the main platform we're hoping to release the game to is PC or computer. And the main reason we chose PC is because it's very widely accessible and the controls on the keyboard are easy to learn for young children. For example, in our game, the character movement is all done just by the arrow keys and using space to jump. And then the two main platforms within the computer we hope to release to are the Steam Store and the Unity Web Player. And the reason we chose these platforms was, number one, the Steam Store has an incredibly large user base, therefore reaching more of our target audience. And then secondly, the Unity Web Player can be put on any website, including your own. And users can actually play the game without having to download or set up anything, so they can just play it straight away from your site.
Information about our team. Well, in the team, we decided to split up some of the roles and tasks, as we believed it would quicken up the production process before deadline. The reason why we split up while creating the game was because we wanted to work in with our skills, so we chose the tasks that would better suit us when we were creating the game. In some tasks, we decided to join up together, as they might just be too large for one person to do by themselves, like creating assets and concept art for the game. On some tasks, just 2 heads are better than 1.
So storyboards can be split up to 2 groups. There's linear and non-linear ones. So linear storyboards are usually used in movies as everything is set out according to plan. But non-linear storyboards, also known as playboards, are used primarily in games, so that's what we used. For example, in an open world game that the player can go anywhere he wants, you use a playboard because it's harder to draw something that hasn't happened yet in the game. And the playboards are very similar to storyboards as they are designed using the same way, using the same kind of templates that you would for a movie. Creating storyboards is extremely important as it allows the client to change assets or change aspects of the story before the production starts.
Our playboards. Playboards allow the time to see an idea of the game before they've even started creating in the production stage.
So these are our playboards. So in scene 1 of the playboard is the main menu screen, and this is the screen that the player will be greeted with as soon as he or she launches the game. And from this screen the player can play the game, access the options, or exit the game completely. And we hope to have background music and some dialogue there just to further immerse the player before they actually start playing. And in scene 2, this would be the first scene of when the game starts, and it's just showing the fairies in their actual environment at their houses, happy before the main character disrupts them on his journey through the forest.
In seasons 3 and 4, we show the main character collecting some of the fairy dust, as it is one of the main mechanics in our game. Within our animatic and game, we will have sound effects for picking up and gathering score for each scene.
So in scene 5, it shows the beaker asset which the fairy dust will be contained in as the player's collecting it. And as the player collects more and more, that jar will fill up, indicating to the player its score, and just further showing he has to fill that further to actually get out of the forest. And then in scene 6 you can see the fairies are starting to get angry that they're realising their fairy dust is disappearing and they're not sure where it's going.
In scenes 7 and 8, you can see that the fairies have become hostile towards the player and started to chase him, as is their main goal to attack the player and make him restart the level.
So in this next scene is our pause menu, and it's very like the main menu. So again, the player can access the options, go in and change the volume or the resolution of the game, or exit back to the main menu. And when that pause is on, then obviously everything in the game has stopped and the player will be able to resume when they want to. And then in scene 10 we have the player respawn screen. So as soon as he is caught by the fairies or has fallen off the world, anything like that, that screen will display to alert the player that he will have to restart the level as he has died. And in that scene we want sounds of the fairies maybe laughing at him, or a death noise, just to emphasize that the player is dead.
In scene 11 we show the victory screen for our game. The player will be able to get this after collecting all fairy dust and escaping the level. We'll have a victory sound like cheers or something in our actual game.
So this is our animatic, and after completing our digital playboards we then created the animatic. This would help us better visualize the movement and sound within the game. And an animatic is a collection of still images to give a greater idea of what the final game will look like. It's used to save money, and it doesn't take so much time to create, but it's a really helpful tool to visualize it. And then Davey's now going to press play just to show it there. So there is actually music and background audio, but I'm not sure if the speaker's just picking it up, but I think you'll be able to hear it maybe in a bit. But that's just our scenes as it's talked through before, and we've put sound over them and animated some of the character movement.
In this thing we show our concept art for our game. We created digital and traditional forms of concept art for our game. For digital concept art, we used the Photoshop program and the rock stats provided to us by the lecturer to create precise images of what we wanted to create. Concept art is important because it gives the team an idea of what the game's assets were and characters are going to look like before they even start in the production stage.